right, so Erik Erikson, in talking about adulthood, he said that the psychosocial crisis for that time was generativity versus stagnation. What is generativity? It's not a word that many students are familiar with, so sometimes they struggle to figure out what this has to do with. If you're engaging in generativity, you are giving back in some way to younger generations. You are somehow leaving something for folks that are younger than you. Right? And the most common way to achieve generativity is through parenting, but there are other ways to achieve generativity. And so establishing and guiding the next generation is a form of generativity. If you don't pass on your knowledge, if you don't support younger generations, if you keep everything you've ever worked on and learned to yourself, you have stagnation. If you know the word stagnant or stagnation, like stagnant water is water that's just been sitting there getting nasty and putrid and stinky. It does not flow. That's stagnant water. So I always think of that with stagnation. When you have generativity, all the stuff you've learned through your lifespan, you're letting it flow. You're sharing it with other people. You're helping, supporting, teaching. Those are the sorts of things that you do with generativity. And so with raising children, you achieve generativity by shaping them into good people, hopefully. You can also achieve generativity by teaching, volunteering, mentoring, creating works of art that are enjoyed by other people, by generations in the future, by being a really good coworker, a supervisor or coworker at work, being a camp counselor, volunteering for the youth group at church. These are all ways that you could achieve generativity beyond just the traditional being a parent, raising children. Also within families, you can be super aunt or super uncle, those sorts of things. They allow generativity. Generativity is adults typically strive for generativity. It's not a positive experience to experience stagnation. So let's see. Okay. All right. Now, another thing that we need to address is sometimes you're caring for younger generations while you're also called upon to care for the generations above you. Sometimes you have to care for your own children and your parents or other older family members, for various practical reasons. They may get sick, they may start having health problems. And so some adults find themselves in a sandwich generation situation. Your sandwich generation is where you are sandwiched between two generations. You're the caregiver for both, caring for younger and older family members. And so they are squeezed by the needs of younger and older members of their families. Sometimes they actually, they have to move in the older family member and everybody's living together and they're having to take care of everybody. We do find that those that experience this sandwich generation situation, let me say it right. It can be very stressful and very overwhelming to have to provide all of this support, to play both of these roles simultaneously. And let's see. Middle-aged adults who provide some financial and emotional help to their adult children, right, are less likely to be depressed than those adults whose children no longer relate to them. So it's good to still have contact, to still have contact and relationships with your adult children, but when you have to become a caregiver to the older members in your family, it can be very stressful. The individuals who go through this, they can experience a lot of feelings of being overwhelmed. It can be very difficult. All right. Another way that you can achieve generativity, as mentioned, is employment or workplace functions. And most adults tie a lot of importance to their work or their job, other than money. You get money and you got to have money to survive. So let's not forget that, well, You get money from work, but a lot of people get, a lot of their identity is tied up in their work, what they do for a living, what their career is. A lot of times when somebody introduces themselves, a lot of times they lead with, here, I'm so-and-so, and I do this for a living. It becomes part of your identity. And so, in addition to personal fulfillment from work, you can also achieve generativity by how you mentor and support your coworkers. We do see that unemployment has negative consequences. In addition to the fact that you don't have money and people need money to survive, it is associated with higher rates of child abuse, alcoholism, depression, and many other social problems. So there are negative correlates, undesirable correlates of unemployment. And you can have stagnation from unemployment because you are not getting to have those workplace experiences. All right, folks, this ends the videos for social and emotional development in adulthood. Next, we move on to late adulthood.